Hi, it's John here with the third of my tips on how to survive, stabilise and strengthen your business during the coronavirus crisis. Now, yesterday we looked at cash flow, and today we're still on the same subject and looking at what government support you can get for you and your business to help your cash flow during the lockdown and beyond. Now, the government needs the economy to survive this and has promised a lot of support. So I'm going to run through them one by one for you, what's available, and you can tick off the ones that you can apply for. Now, the first one, and a big one, is the Coronavirus Job Retention Scheme. Now, this is where the government will fund 80% of the wages of any employees you need to lay off during the crisis. The buzzword here they're using is to furlough those employees. Now, this is to an extent to protect those employees who you would have laid off otherwise, basically to kind of keep them in a job. Now, the support is capped at £2,500 per worker per month. It's initially available for up to 3 months, and the Chancellor will then reassess at that point. Now, the £2,500 is their gross pay. On top of that, the government will actually fund their employers' NI and pension contributions. Now, to be furloughed, your employee really does need to be off work, i.e. the funding doesn't apply to anyone who just continue to work in your business or you reduce their hours. That it's all or nothing. And if you are going to furlough anyone, you should also take HR advice. Now, the funding is only available for employees who are on your payroll at the end of February, but it can potentially be backdated to the 1st of March, either the day after that, if you laid them off before you're aware this funding was available. The next thing is small business grant funding. If you're a small business, if you claim small business rates relief, there's a one-off £10,000 grant from the government payable to you in April 2020. Now, the grants will be administered by local authorities. Your local authority should contact you if you are eligible, but you'll have to submit an online form to claim. These forms went live for most local authorities on the 31st of March, so kind of take a look and make sure you fill that form in. Similarly, if you're in the retail, hospitality or leisure industry, there are a couple of things around business rates actually. The first is that there will actually be a 100% discount on business rates for people in the retail, leisure and hospitality industry from April 2020 to March 2021, a whole year of not paying any rates at all. On top of that, similar to the small business grant, if your property has a rateable value below £15,000, you'll be eligible for a £10,000 grant in April 2020. If your premises has a rateable value between £15,000 and £51,000, that grant will be £25,000 payable to you in April 2020. Now, these grants are per property, i.e. you can receive more than one grant if you have a few restaurants or shops. However, just be aware these are instead of, not on top of the small business grant I spoke about earlier. Again, these reliefs are administered by your local authority, so kind of check their website now to see the claim forms there and get that one in. The next thing available is support for the self-employed. The government, if you are self-employed, the government will fund 80% of your net trading profits for a period of 3 months to cover March to May 2020. This again is capped at £2,500 per month. It'll be paid in one lump sum in June 2020, so there's a bit of a cash flow thing there. The amount will be based on your average monthly profits in the past 3 years. This will be based on your personal tax returns. If you haven't been self-employed for the full 3 years, they'll take what you've got. So if it's just been 1 year, they'll obviously take that 1 year and look at your profits in there and average them to a monthly profit and pay you 80%. To be eligible for this support, you must meet all of the kind of 3 criteria. The first is that you actually registered self-employed and you did a 5th of April 2019 self-assessment tax return. Now, if you should have done one and you're a bit late, they're giving you till the 23rd of April to do this and get it into HMRC, and you'll be eligible for the grant. The second of the criteria is your trading profit in that last tax return must be less than £50,000. Now, if that was over £50,000, but it's kind of gone up over previous years. What they will allow you to do is look at your last 3 and average that. But if the average over those last 3 is more than £50,000, you won't get the grant. And the last of the 3 criteria is that in your last tax return, more than 50% of your income must have come from self-employment. Again, they will actually let you average that over 3 years if need be. The idea really there is they're only looking to kind of fund people where this is their main source of income, not somebody who basically has a job and has a little hobby on the side. Okay. One of the things about this is though that owners of limited companies are not included in the scheme because they're not self-employed in HMRC terms. They receive salary and dividends. Now, the government said there'll be minimal paperwork to fill in. They will work out who's eligible because they have the tax returns, and they'll also work out the grants based on that. They say they'll contact you, and there'll be a simple kind of online form to fill in. They've made it very clear they don't want you to contact them in the meantime because they've got enough on working their way through this. The good thing is though, actually you can continue to work while claiming the grant. However, you do need to actually kind of state that you have been affected in some way by coronavirus. If you're actually trading as normally, you shouldn't be getting the grant, but if it has had an impact on your income, you're allowed the grant, even if you are still doing some work, which is like a difference to the furlough scheme. Okay. The next thing is actually, because I spoke about cash flow there, because if you're self-employed, you won't get that until June 2020. If you furloughed staff, you need to pay them, but the portal to reclaim the money won't be able till May. So on both there is a bit of a cash flow gap. So one of the things the government has put out is the Coronavirus Business Interruption Loan Scheme, or CBILS. This is basically a loan scheme launched to support loans for small businesses to up to £5 million. To help businesses get credit they might not have got normally, the government will provide lenders with a guarantee of up to 80% of the loan, and they won't charge for this guarantee. Now, what's this actually mean to you? Let's say it means that businesses that might not be accepted for a loan normally should be able to get a loan. However, it will be a loan. This isn't free cash. The government will also cover the first 12 months of interest payments. You won't need to pay those yourself, but you will probably have to start repaying capital straight away. However, do kind of take a note on here over personal guarantees. It's been quite a hot topic. The Chancellor did announce on the 2nd of April, after some criticism of this scheme, that you would not need to give a personal guarantee on loans up to £250,000, but you'll probably need to do so on a larger loan. So just make sure you know what you're signing up for and you can afford the repayments in the new business world, and actually after you come out the other side of the coronavirus lockdown. The next thing to help with cash is a VAT deferral. Any VAT payments due to be paid to HMRC between the 20th of March and the 30th of June this year will not need to be paid until the 31st of March next year. This will help with cash flow, but please remember you will have to repay them next year. Similarly, on income tax, if you have a payment on account on your income tax during the 31st of July 2020, you won't have to pay that until the 31st of January 2021, i.e. you get a 6-month deferral. Again, it will still have to be paid, but it just frees up some much needed cash right now. On that as well is HMRC are going to be more lenient over time to pay arrangements, i.e. if you can't afford to pay any of your taxes, whether that's income tax, PAYE, corporation tax or VAT, they'll try to be understanding and lenient over it, either allowing you to stagger payments or just kind of delay paying them. And there's a special helpline set up for that. On a personal level as well, the government has spoken to lenders about mortgages. So if you have a residential mortgage or a buy-to-let mortgage, you can apply for a 3-month payment holiday. Again, it's only a holiday. They will still actually be charging interest in the background. You still have to repay the capital. However, again, for cash flow purposes, a 3-month gap of pay might be really helpful. You'll have to apply to your lender directly for that, but they have to, it won't affect your credit rating in doing so. Okay, so those are the main things. We do have a couple of detailed videos on this that go into more detail. This was a summary. They're on a YouTube channel. If you do want to know more, the best place actually to go is to our website. We have a dedicated coronavirus section on the website where we'll keep updating these as things change, and also put a lot more detail. Our website is, you can see below the video, but it's www.johndavisaccountants.co.uk. Quite a mouthful. Like I said, the details are below here. Now, I hope you found that useful. Tomorrow we're actually going to move on. We've moved through the survive bit of the pandemic protection plan. We're going to move to the next bit, which is about stabilising your business during the lockdown. Hope you found that useful. See you soon.